For those of you who missed the action yesterday, make sure to check out the social media, the YouTube channels. The highlight will be there, and you can catch up on some of the amazing gameplay from yesterday. So Simon's deck is something we've shown before here, and we've talked a little bit about the Mikanko strategy, how it has really good options going first and second. But Mattia is going to start us off here, and he is playing a very good start. He is actually playing Tearlaments, and beginning with the Kelbeck discard off Himseti to get the gold sarcophagus, sorry, not gold sarcophagus, King's sarcophagus.
Might have been a good one.
From the deck to the hand here. And now it's time to mill 5 cards. Let's see what we can hit here. All right, both players gonna use the, send from the top of the deck 5 cards here. We hit a Havness Tier Cache.
Okay.
And Simon is getting the Ceremony in the Grave. Ooh, as well as the one of Rise Heart. Might actually be an important piece to lose there.
Not bad, but Mattia only plays 2 Pearl Rhino, which are now gone.
Oh, he only plays 2?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, so he might need a shuffler. Yeah, later on. It will be very good.
Back potentially if he hits a Trivikarma.
Yeah, let's see first these 2 additional cards off the top of his deck.
So we'll see if he has a...
And
there's one. Okay, nice. And using the Havness as Chainlink 1 on Tier Cache to mill, just in case you mill any other potential options so that you can choose something else to fuse on Resolution. But I think we're going to go for the rank 4. The Quarter Century, right? Mud Dragon.
Yeah.
Really important tool in Tearlament because it is a water rank 4, facilitates Bahamut Shark. It's also just a fusion as a target for further fusion plays into something like Dracostapelia. So a very important key piece of Tearlament, plays very differently across the different formats. For those of you familiar with Mastodon, for example, different kind of strategy here. We've also got Foolish Burial.
Okay.
Potentially resolving 2 of the Ishizu Millers in this turn 1 here. Let's see if that's what he is going to go for. Yep,
yes.
We got a Guido. Time to shivel up here and see 10 more cards from both players. Wonder if Simon can potentially get any valuable resources. That's a good hit. Sulik is going to search for anything. Malicious, huge, and another shuffle.
And Destrudo.
Okay. Simon does hit a Jet Synchron, however. That's pretty relevant.
Yeah, almost as good as his opponent, right?
Sulik going to get a search here, potentially for Shirin if we want to get more cards into the graveyard from the hand, or if we just need a normal summon with Rhino Heart.
But again, I mean, some people might call this, you know, a jackpot, but when you consider that Mattia sent 12 cards off the top of his deck, out of 12 cards, you should get some good effects, and it's not a matter of luck anymore, so...
Noticing that there's only 1 Synchro Monster in Mattia's list here for the Destrudo, so I think you want to manipulate that into a level 3 by targeting a 4. Gives you a play with Tier Cache, and 7 and 3 is going to give you Baron as well, so... Full combo generally resolves with a Toad, a Baron, and potentially a play into an SP Little Knight as well. Banishing the Sulik. Did you see what he added with the Sulik?
Yeah, he did the Rhino Heart.
Rhino Heart? Okay, cool. And Tier Cache also hits a Shiren.
Wow, good meals, because he also has the King Sarcophagus in hand, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he will be able to special summon later on either the Happy and the Himseti as well.
And as you mentioned, now we might have access to that Baron with the Destrudo, so...
Okay, we're going to go for a Beatrice play by returning the Malicious. That's going to give you the Hero level 6, facilitating a Beatrice play.
This may be an insane opening, especially because, like we have seen Simon's deck yesterday, he's not playing any interruptions in the main deck. He doesn't have any hand traps at all, so...
The Lava Golem could be huge, potentially, if he sees it off the top here. And Mattia now has enough information to recognize that that is an issue, so I wonder if he will try and play around it, or maybe you just put him on Better Have It and just do your full combo, right? It's very hard to play conservatively with Tearlament. It's a deck that sort of just mills, gets full combo going, and you just kind of set up your full field.
Yeah, the more you mill, the more you want to mill. You know?
Yeah. How did we synchro with the Baron? It was the Destrudo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so half the life points being paid here, which is generally the last point of life is usually all that matters. But in a deck against Mikanko, it could be kind of scary to be on 4,000, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, you have to be careful, especially because like we saw yesterday Simon's strategy, and I think he may be able just to seal the game very easily. Here with the Beatrice, I think he can also send the Merle if it really feels like. He has a lot of options, honestly.
Yeah, no, there's so many good targets. Both the Millers have been used. Shufflers are both in the deck here, so it really is just about, we don't even need like the resources anymore. We just need to keep going and pushing with combo plays here, and that's exactly what he's going to do by sending a fusion here. Potentially end on a Dragos Tapilia. I think he... Oh, we're going to go for Trivikarma.
He also plays the Rainbow Bridge.
Oh, sorry, it's not Trivikarma. Yeah, Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
With the, what's it called? The Crystal Beast.
Yeah, the Emerald Turtle, right?
I feel like this engine was significantly better with Kick Coloss because the turtle acts as a aqua. You can always shuffle it back with Kick Coloss, and the trap card is always live. So it's a tiny bit bricky, I feel, especially with the Horus cards. But he's opened very well, so we're not going to be inhibited at all. Remember, we still haven't even used the Horus portion of the deck here. A couple in the grave with Obsedi and another name with the King Sarcophagus in the hand.
Makes sense.
So he put back 2 of Simon's card. Did he put back a Perla Rhino? Yeah.
Yeah. He did. That's... And there is it. So get to see a Crystal Beast 2023. It's actually not that bad of a deck, actually.
Yeah.
On its own.
It is level 4, correct? Or is it level 3?
Let me check. Level 3, I guess.
Oh,
yeah,
it
is
level 3.
level 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't overlay with the Mud Dragon, but if we do want to normal summon it,
I think also a good catch from Mattia, who shuffled back the Ceremony in Simon's Graveyard, which was the only one card that could have been banished itself for sending a Mikanko card, no? So a good catch from him.
Yeah, Ceremony and Jet Synchron, pretty good resources that we gave Simon with 10 mills, but that's why the Shufflers are so good. Even if your opponent does mill something, unless it triggers immediately, you can actually take that away from them, and then you still get the full value out of your 10 mills.
I think he's got another one potentially. Let's see. Yeah. He has a lot of options.
Shuffler? Yeah, he hit both of them.
Yeah.
We've got Medora and Keldo. There's the King Sarcophagus coming down. Let's see what these Horus cards can offer the Tearlaments strategy. Wow. Over the last couple of months, we've seen people play around with different versions of Tier. We've got King of the Swamp with Polymerization. Some people play the Hero version.
Wow.
And Zombie Vampire hitting 4 cards here. We can just special summon the Rhino Heart if we want.
Also the Trivikarma as well.
And we have Trivikarma.
Master Reborn making an appearance for Simon.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the few decks we've seen all weekend choosing to play the OG Monster Reborn.
Yeah.
Gotta love that ultimate rare Rhino Heart. Looks incredible. And we still have a send if we want to. Is he choosing not to send with Rhino Heart? Unless he sent the Trivikarma? That was definitely milled with the Zombie Vampire,
it was milled. It was milled. Yeah.
He only has access to Merlis, I think, as name. Yeah.
But I can still get a Dracos Tapilia, I think, right? Well, let's see what he does with it. Got the Zombie Vampire in the main monster zone.
Wow, what an opening, though.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah. The Horus cards just giving you like instant easy access to a Zombie Vampire for even more mills. You know, 9 cards sent from the top of the deck to the graveyard this turn. And our link 2 of choice here is...
This is the SP?
Potentially Cross Sheep if we have even more ways to fuse.
Yeah, it is SP.
Yep. SP taking a resource out of the graveyard. SP, Toad, Beatrice, Baron. Huge start here. But you know what does deal with a field like this? Lava Golem. Let's see if Simon is going to be opening or top decking that.
Couple of Lava Golems, I'd say. Yeah, to be fair. But yeah, great stuff.
How do you feel about the Horus engine in tier? Because it's not the standard, I would say, but it does offer a lot of power. And I suppose one of the only issues I would think is maybe just it can be a little bit bricky.
Yeah, consistency-wise, yeah. It's... I think it depends a lot on what you expect the rest of the format to be, because we saw some of them cutting a lot of, these engine cards. Because when you send them off the top of the deck...
the Merle was in the hand.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay, yeah, that's why we didn't use Rhino.
And he sends the screen, but I think he might be out of traps, because like he just added one.
Yeah, unless, I don't know, we're playing meta noise or something. Probably not. Merle gets the fuse with a fusion here, and I think we do really want to go for Dragos Tapilio.
Yeah, I think this might be one of the best start that we have seen so far from Tearlaments. Yeah. This is insane.
No, he goes for Kaleido.
Okay.
Okay.
There it is.
Yeah, Kaleido Heart is huge on Simon's turn. You can send it with the Sulic, bring it back, fuse again, and spin a card.
Yeah, and now Lava Golem definitely isn't enough.
Yeah,
so. And
pop a card as well because the Perla Rhino. It's like 3 disruptions just by itself.
Yeah, this is fantastic stuff. I mean, it's just going to be revealing information to Simon. Didn't have to, but some sportsmanship from Mattia.
The Destro has also been hit back into the grave again, so follow up for next turn if we need it.
And yep.
Well, I suppose the one thing Simon has going for him is that Mattia is on half of his life, so...
Not so humble combo.
If we can do any sort of push here, then there's a world where we can get through this, but we'll see. And these are the kind of fields that Mikanko scarily can actually take apart. You know, it's not exactly over. I think Simon is still very much in this, but I think we will probably need a Lava Golem here. It doesn't look like we're going to start with that. Nope, we've got the Sinful Engine. Diabellstar going to offer some kind of assistance by taking apart this field here, but so many good resources for Mattia available.
Yeah,
follow-up.
So much.
Yeah, we got follow-up, we've got multiple disruptions. Beatrice acts as a toolbox for basically anything as well. So overall, Simon has just been completely dominating Swiss. He is the only EXO player left, and I don't think Mikanko has really been played at all. I haven't seen it anywhere in the top tables.
No, I think he might be the only one.
Yeah, he is showing great mastery over this deck, getting this far, this deep into such a huge tournament with a lot of big name players, a lot of talent out there in the top tables. So he's definitely performing super well with this Mikanko deck, and I think it's maybe something people don't take too seriously, but proving that it can indeed be something formidable.
The deck is super interesting, honestly. Has a lot of consistency. Plays. We talked about this before. It's like triple tactic. Trust as well. It's not easy to deal with this.
Wow, normal summoned, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is the only target for Souls the
Illusion
Bellstar?
I don't know. Maybe he's playing.
He plays Illusion.
He should have Illusion, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. We chose to normal summon this. All right, well, we are using the effect for cost here to send the Sinful off the field here to draw 1. Bear in mind here, Mattia has not activated any monster effects this turn, so if Simon has a talent or a thrust, it's not going to be usable right now, so I think Mattia definitely wants to hold as long as possible, just in case that is going to trigger.
And this is exactly what's going on. Maybe he's not even using the tier afterwards. Could be the case. No, okay. He does. So he goes for a monster effect.
Yeah, and as mentioned, this is so much disruption just by itself. The Sulic can trigger, the Kaleido triggers off the Shiren, the field spell can pop.
And you also get the Stabilia on top.
Yeah. The Kaleido setup is massive. Puts the Diabellstar back into the deck, and
now he can potentially destroy the souls,
yeah. This is a reason to not destroy, maybe? I feel like there isn't really anything relevant.
I mean, it's just that you can use Beatrice afterwards, maybe, to trigger it, so maybe he doesn't feel like he wants to use it right here.
Yeah. Like Relinquished maybe could be a relevant card that Simon would play in Mikanko. That's something I would be scared of.
We have seen some of that around at the top tables for our Ultimate Time Wizard event, which is 2005 for this weekend, so that's still going on.
That's the other Relinquish, but sure.
No, it's actually that one. Well played.
Well played. Simon picks up, and we're going to head into game number 2 here.
Yeah, well, very explosive start by Mattia, with pretty much sending half of his deck even more away turn one, and what an opening that was. No Lava Golem on site, but now Simon gets to go first, and maybe he will try to set up some of his own combos. Yesterday we didn't really see too much of it, because 3 out of 3 got it by Droll Lockbird, so let's see this time around.
It's unfortunate. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of a showcase from Simon's turn 1 here, but yeah, we haven't seen the Mikanko deck really utilize the full power of its Acid Golem trick, which for those of you who may have missed, for example, YCS Richmond, Acid Golem is a huge part of this Mikanko win condition. Geonator Transverser gives your opponent the Acid Golem, which says you cannot special summon monsters, and I think Tearlaments probably wants to be able to special summon.
Here and there.
Just a few.
Sometimes. No, but in general, I think Simon going first...
yeah, shouldn't side that much, right?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think he's going to side in...
Yes,
anything.
one card, which is the one-dimensional barrier, that is really nice, and considering he has obviously the trust, you can even set that, and that's obviously amazing against Tier, but probably that's about it.
That's it.
On Mattia's side, I mean, we can expect him to be somewhat familiar with Simon's deck just because they have been sitting next to each other for at least the last 3 or 4 rounds. But yeah, he does have an interesting side deck, even with the Garura and Dweller, a lot of those extra deck monsters you mentioned, Nadir.
Yeah, I think Super Poly is really what he's looking for with the Garura.
Yeah.
Cowboy, of course, if you ever get into time, that's always going to be extremely relevant. I think it's interesting that he plays Cowboy instead of Scattershot, I suppose, and getting access to your extra deck is easier than the main deck. But
I'm mostly surprised by both Garura and Dweller, because Garura, usually you could combo off in tier with the
yeah, it's kind of something you play in the main, right?
Yeah. And using, I mean, I agreed with you that using your side deck like that is fine, but 3 out of 15 extra deck cards in the side deck, wow. But regardless, our duelists are ready, so let's jump back into game number 2.
Game 2 starting up here, and Simon will be opting to go first. Lava Golem's easy to remove, bring in something a little bit more useful, like those There Can Be Only ones. We'll see what he chooses to do against Mattia here, who I think I saw put in a Nibiru mid-siding. Doesn't look like he's drawn any of that here.
Let's see.
No Droll and Lockbird to worry about. All right, that's a good start. We've got the Wanted. One thing to consider, I suppose, is, and you know, we talked about the diversity of the format, just how many decks there are. I think Tearlaments is maybe one of the few like explosive combo decks around that don't lose really hard to Droll and Lockbird.
Yeah.
I find it quite difficult to really have answers to Tearlaments in your side deck. Do you think just because of how many decks there are, you would dedicate things specifically to Tearlaments?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not easy, honestly, to counter it, especially because, like as you mentioned, it has so many plays, and Mattia's deck as well also has the Horus cards, which is, I think, a nice addition to the deck in this case, especially because, like, I mean, either you put some pressure on your opponent by having, you know, big monsters on the field, and I mean, in general, I think that I feel like that, you know, like compared to the previous format, it's been even more difficult to side in cards against Tearlaments, honestly, yeah, which are more specific, you know.
Yeah, seems like Bestials are pretty much ideal. This format, they're good against a lot of the decks that are popular, but chances are one Bestial doesn't do much against these Tearlaments decks nowadays. So
yeah, Neko Bane King is the only thing that I still haven't resolved on a feature match, unfortunately, but we'll see it one day for sure. Here's the Arabesque coming out. That's going to give you a access into your Mikanko engine, bouncing the Delia Bellstar back to the hand, special summoning the Hare.
yeah, it seems like for now there might be any response from Mattia, so finally we get to see some of this openings from Simon, maybe the Acid Golem combo you mentioned, so
yeah,
nice.
Ken and Jen from Age of Overlords has been a massive part of the Mikanko development and evolution of the archetype, because it's a great way to just give your opponent a monster, and I think typically Mikanko struggled with turn 1 plays because your opponent doesn't really have a field, and so Ken and Jen giving you good synergy, especially with the talents and the thrust. It lends itself really well to Mikanko. I think with Ken and Jen's reveal for the first time, a lot of people were on the train of, you know, something like Dart World, taking full advantage of it, ripping a card with Silva, and then going into Thrust and Talents because you give your opponent Ken and Jen. Speaking of which, funnily enough, Simon played Dart World the last event. So maybe he just enjoys these style of archetypes. I think that was a Rise Heart we added to the hand with the Isolde. Now we're going to get to send special summon out of the deck here any warrior.
That could be it. Yeah.
Isolde, part of the infamous Link Vrains sort of era where we had just so many incredible Link 2s. Jasmine, Hulk, Isolde, Union Carrier.
Yeah.
Half of those I mentioned are no longer with us.
And here we see the Gan as mentioned. Usually you can decide, but against Tearlaments specifically, you really want to do this way around, because like the Gan could come back to hurt you if you allow Tearlament to discard a card, maybe that Kelbeck again, you know.
Yeah. So giving the opponent the Ken.
Yep.
Draw 2 and discard. Extra wanted in the hand, all right, nice. And there's Thrust, this is exactly what we talked about. You give your opponent a monster, because they control it, you can actually add the Talons to your hand.
Yeah, this is amazing, honestly.
So let's take a peek here and see what we've got. We've got Droplet, Merly, I think that's the Imseti.
That Droplet could be...
Yeah, Droplet sending for cost is like huge, so I assume if he hits Droplet here, we might see Simon go for that combo. Oh, he's also got the there could be only one in his hands here. Simon's really open insane. All right, so actually opting to not need the Droplet, it looks like.
Probably asking for, Do you like that there can be in this matchup?
No, I don't at all, but it's probably just because there's nothing better, right, to bring in going first, right? You're probably not going to need evenly matched.
And the Lava Golem,
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. The Lava Golem in the main deck, kind of useless going first, so... it's just an easy straight swap, I suppose. What else would you really bring in here? He's only really got Book of Eclipse, I suppose, as an option.
Yeah.
So yeah, deliberating hard here over this talent return, because it is important that you consider potential top decks as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
As expected, Droplet is the card here, which leaves Mattia with not that great of an end, to be fair.
No, he doesn't really have anything to get his own engine going except normal summon Merly Mill 3.
And now Simon, throwing a card. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see just how we get through this. You always give your opponent the monster in the middle zone. It's the easiest way to swap over with the Geonator Transverter. And with modern sort of transferring effects of all the different extra deck cards available, you always want to play around like various zones. You don't want to summon in zone number 2 and 3, potentially because of Relinquish. You don't want to summon in 3 and 1 because of Transverser. There's so many things to like consider and play around.
Anima as well, which, you know,
yeah,
it's kind of contradictory then, yeah.
All right, here is Fire Dance. So level 3 is the relevant level of Hare, because that is going to be able to let you go into that combo. Now, can we also... Oh, no, we're just going to pick up the cards instantly. All right.
Okay, wow.
As soon as we got the second level 3 on the field, I think Mattia knows where that's going.
Yeah.
It's a shame we didn't actually get to showcase it and see exactly how it plays off, but basically what likely was going to happen there is the summon of Transverser, then into the Lava Golem, give your opponent... sorry, not Lava Golem, Acid Golem. So many golems in Yu-Gi-Oh! Give your opponent the Acid Golem. They aren't able to special summon. And...
but then you can tribute summon Malicious.
Tribute set the Malicious, maybe. Yeah, that's actually a good point.
There was an out. But, I mean, the end was not looking like it could go anywhere. But I guess he wanted to save some time, doesn't risk, just ending in time. And with 20+ minutes remaining, that's not going to be the case. But once again now, Mattia gonna go first. and I am now reminiscing of the last round of Swiss yesterday, of a certain rounded card, shiny rounded card, which is the sphere mode.
Yeah, a certain spherical object might be headed Mattia's way here. I would genuinely be very scared if I was Mattia. Now, in a deck that you know wants to go second, and Mattia, if he's done his research, potentially could have looked at the feature match from yesterday, may have been in preparation for Simon. There is a world maybe where Mattia lets Simon start.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that Simon is starting in to go second, right? So if Mattia let him go first, then Simon might be in trouble because he might side in cards such as Evenly Matched, Sphere Mode, he has Lava Golem as well.
He has a lot. He has Ultimate Slayer, a lot of these go in second cards, and that could be the case, absolutely. And but you need to be brave to do that.
It's a bold move to try and do that, especially when you know your opponent has such a powerful, almost instant win combo available to them. It's a big risk to take, but it's something that over the years players have sort of experimented with when it comes to side decking strategies, is actually choosing to let your opponent start.
And I think this is the last time in the event where Mattia can actually take a pretty significant risk without not many consequences.
True.
Regardless, he is guaranteed that spot in the top cut. So maybe it could be the time to do a bow move on stream as well. So that could be amazing. But regardless, it seems like our duelists are shuffling up. There is one more game for this Swiss to crown who will be the top of Swiss most likely. So let's go to the table.
Yeah, we do have the bonus prize available for this match. The top of Swiss will be getting the win of the oversized Glutonia. So some sort of commiseration for the potential Curse of Anubis that usually occurs for the winner of Swiss. Getting knocked out instantly to top 64 might not feel as bad if you get yourself an oversized card. So yeah, good little prize on the line here. And we'll see just exactly who is going to go first here. I'm really curious to see if Mattia actually lets Simon start. I think he's most likely... Yeah, I think he wants to go first himself.
Not looking like it. And let's take a look at these openings. Mattia trying to look. Let's see.
I think it could just through the Crystal Beast.
I see a foolish Buddha Goods, maybe? Yeah. Which is a great card in this deck. Can send a lot of different targets, so that alone is okay.
Yeah, I think there's a good amount of options in place here available to Mattia. I'm just really curious, you know, how all in do you go here? Do you go and do your full combo like you did in game one, or do you maybe play around Lava Golem and Sphere Mode and only summon one monster? It doesn't really feel worth it, I feel. We'll see just exactly how it plays out here. Foolish Burial Goods going to send the Trivikarma. Trivikarma is...
But I think...
What were you going to say?
No, because I was thinking he could have sent the rainbow, but I did see the turtle, and there it is. So he drew the emerald turtle, unfortunately, so yeah.
Always one of the most frustrating types of parts of deck building is a lot of decks do just have these engine requirements. The OG Gem Knight Garnet is usually how they are seen with Brilliant Fusion, if anyone recalls. And over the years, the development of different decks and strategies, you will find that there's a lot of cards in your deck that work specifically in your deck only.
I think many recall because we literally just saw your match against Leo, and that was quite a spectacle. Yeah.
All right, Trivikarma, I think Pearl Rhino is what we're going to get out here, and I think we do have a really cool combo with Tear Cash and Shiren in the hands, potentially. Sure. Although you do want to get the maximum effect of Tear Cash in both ways, that is including the on-summon effect, which mills 3, not inducing your normal summon. Is that a Dogwood I saw in Mattia's deck that's still there?
Really?
I think I saw him. Yeah, because he is siding Dogwood. I was just curious because it might have been a little early to side that. We'll see if he gets it into the grave at all. I'm not sure there's going to be much relevance to time here. I don't know. To be fair, 16 minutes. You never know how long Tearlament can take. Yeah, okay. Choosing to send a Denier instead of the Tear Cash here. Keldo! Oof. And we got a Guido! Amazing. All right. No Neko Main Kings in Simon's side deck, so I don't think there's going to be too much risk in actually choosing to resolve this Agido here.
Yeah, you can see Simon smiling as the last card is revealed. And
bro, I can't believe you hit the one of Agido.
yeah,
I think he was actually thinking about whether or not he wants to activate it.
really.
For a moment there.
And there, yeah, it is the dog
Yeah,
board.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Spooky. Nothing.
Nothing relevant,
yeah,
no.
Nothing for Simon, really.
Does he just play one Ken and Gen, I assume?
Yeah,
or
he plays only one Ken.
one of each?
I think one Ken.
One Ken, two Gen. Okay, that might be a little bit unfortunate if that actually comes up and is relevant, deleting the resource out of your deck that you need there. Do we have a target for Rhino in hand? It looks like we might be triggering it here.
Yeah, I think we have a tier cache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, discarding the tier cache. Unfortunately, he won't use the on-summon effect to mill 3, but we'll see if he can bring it back at some point, potentially. Gonna send with the Rhino, but first milling Scream Killback!
Wow.
Okay.
Crazy.
I'm
Crazy
going to mill
opening.
10 cards from my deck.
Maybe flashback of game 1.
Yep.
Yeah. Admittedly, there's like so many ways to mill in this deck. There is a pretty likely chance you will get to resolve one of them in Tearlament, especially with Beatrice just guaranteeing it if you need to. So there's definitely lots of different paths to getting there. Tearlament can sometimes suffer from consistency.
Interesting. He's actually sending 5 first, risking maybe to send all of the traps, but it's them early too. Wow.
That is amazing. I don't think you can be too upset here.
No, we see the Lava Golem, but
Yeah, Lava Golem, no Sphere Mode has been detected yet.
and
Okay.
10 cards are gone, which, yeah, maybe statistically speaking,
there's a good chance.
statistically speaking, yeah.
3 and 30, 10% off the top. Unless we've already opened it, like that's
What I'm saying.
those are not bad odds. See if he,
He might be holding one, honestly.
Yeah,
I think,
exactly.
it's most likely that he is. Yeah.
Alright, so Scream gets Sullik to the hand here, and we saw just how powerful Sullik is when you've got the setup with Perla Rhino into Kaleido Heart. So I think Mattia is choosing whether or not to use Merle here. I think you have to, right? Because all of these are limited. It's going to be hard to access it again.
But I think he's still resolving the upness from the chain of the Kelbeck now, and so he needs to figure out what he wants to go for.
Some type of rank 4 play, I think, is
Probably
what we want
again
to go
Mud
for.
Dragon. Yeah.
Mhm. He did put the Garura back into his extra deck, it looks like.
Makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's Mud Dragon, and now he gets to activate them early if he wants.
What can you make with Merle here? It's a big investment to go Kaleido Heart this early.
Is it though? Let's see.
Yeah, you can tell he's considering whether to use it or not. I mean,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he does. He has a Destrudo in hand, I believe, so this will also give him quite a few plays. But no, okay, he did have the Denier, so this makes sense. He can now access the Malicious once again, if he wants. Yeah, makes sense. Why not?
We've got a lot of available plays here, so this is your level 6, which is extremely important. Gives you into the Beatrice line. First, it looks like we're going to go for a rank 4.
Yeah, just protect from any possible disruption, and we get to see the Toad.
Bahamut Shark overlaying as well is really important for the Rhino Heart as a nice resource that you get to keep, because when Rhino Heart comes back from the graveyard, next time it leaves the field it would be banished. But by overlaying it, we get to keep that resource.
And there is the Destrudo I was talking about. You can get rid of that to send the Malicious.
Discard Destrudo, send Malicious. I mean, that is just value town right here.
And this is a Beatrice, straight up.
Huge field coming out here from Mattia. What's left to resolve at this point?
I
With
think
the
he used,
Beatrice.
most of his
Have we used all the
no?
names?
I think it's Shireen that's left, right? The one on field, and that's it.
So if we can maybe have Beatrice get us into some sort of rank 4 play, we could trigger the Shirid, make a Kaleido, or use that Destrudo for some sort of a synchro play.
Okay, gonna go for it.
Not to mention as well that you can send spells and traps if you like. Tier Cache has already used its effects. Send Sullik.
Because
Did we not use Sullik already? this game?
No, I think he didn't.
No? Okay. All right, we're adding Tear Cache, which means we can use the on-summon effect of Tear Cache, right? We haven't used the field effects, I believe.
No. So we can summon it going to the Baron, but first we make either the SP, because we need some field space to do that. So could be the line here. Yep. Still revealing everything, yes. Yeah, it's looking like it's gonna be pretty much exactly the same thing as game 1. He just needs to find the space here, and that's exactly what he's going for, I think, right? You go for SP here.
Yeah, I think it's... Oh, okay.
Okay.
We forgot that he still has access to the King Sarcophagus.
Yeah, no, it's the same
Three special
thing.
summons from the grave.
Same thing, yeah. Now we go for the Tear Cache.
It's interesting because the deck itself for Tearlament has no sort of set combos, but it sort of does kind of congregate into like the same end field. And so you can see here, like this is literally like going to be card for card what we had before, right, in the last game.
Yeah.
But how you get there is going to be different depending on your starting hand. You know, you can start with a normal summon, you can start with Shiren Mills, etc., etc., Foolish Send. Lots of ways to get you to this point, and I think that's why Tearlament is just such a really, you know, sort of fan favorite deck. It's really enjoyable and fun to play and see
well
what
played.
you can mill.
Well played here.
Yeah, for sure. Credit where credit is due. Mattia has played this and executed this perfectly.
And yeah, this is gonna be pretty much the same thing, except there will not be a Kaleido, it seems, unless he wants to use his field. Yeah, he can do it with the Baron here. Makes sense.
Yeah, the value that you get out of Baron popping your own cards is, I mean, not every day that's going to be relevant, but here it is, resolving the last and final fusion. Going to go into the, using the Shiren to fuse up into the Kaleido Heart, and this is going to be everything you need right now.
That's about it. Exact same field as game 1. Will it be the exact same result? It's up to Simon to now find, you know, that sphere mode.
Yeah, really does need one of those heavy-hitting tributes. 6 in the deck total. We've milled a lot here. I think we've only hit one Lava Golem. Yeah. We just need to see any one of those, and I think that Simon is going to be in a really strong space here. I'm curious to see if Mattia wants to use this Beatrice in the standby phase, potentially, just to get value out of it in case we have that big tribute, because he should be more than aware that Simon does have, or at least plays it.
But doesn't look like it. And
okay, standing stoic. To be fair, it doesn't really matter because you're basically forcing your opponent to choose to hit the Beatrice, right? If you don't use it immediately, then the Beatrice becomes useless, so you don't need to tribute it anymore. Whereas if you leave it up just now, you don't play into Talents or Thrust. And
there it is.
Okay, right, we did draw it. Sphere mode. A card that has basically very rarely been used for its, shall we say, effect to summon the Winged Dragon of Ra. Unless we get to Mattia's turn and surprises us, but yeah, this is typically what we use the sphere mode for.
Not the Toad, though. Interesting.
There's just so much, isn't there, right? Because if you get rid of the Beatrice, if you leave the Beatrice can go into a fusion. You get a valuable monster off of the Beatrice, plus a pop off of the Perlarino potentially, so it's like 2 disruptions on 1 Beatrice, whereas Toad is like kind of just 1 negate. Yeah, like especially when you have Sullick set, I think Beatrice is really important and needs to go.
I agree. This makes sense.
Okay, that's an Arabesque. That's probably the best engine you can have going second.
For sure. I think we might even have to negate this one.
I think it's this one, the Rondo.
Oh, is it Rondo?
Is it Rondo?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Then no.
So if we can get a Mikanko onto the field, we can just instantly steal this SP. If we let this resolve, I feel like Mattia needs to use this. Can we double check if you can target the sphere mode? Because it might be untargetable by both players.
I think it is.
Yeah, it cannot be targeted for attacks or card effects.
Even by the turn player? All right, we're just gonna double check this because it's very relevant here to remove your Sphere Mode and Little Knight off the field, especially to remove the removing off the field.
Only your opponent, only your opponent.
Okay. Yeah, your opponent. Yeah. Okay.
So you can definitely do that.
Okay, that's relevant, and we've got now Fenrir onto the field here. This is really looking not too bad actually from Simon, despite the full combo performed there by Mattia.
No.
Simon does have
Wow, he goes for it. Interesting.
negates the toad here.
Well, this sounds like very good news for Simon. I
Yeah.
wouldn't expect him to activate it if, you know, if he goes for this Fenrir, it means yes. Oh, but what?
Toad at Dogwood, that's amazing.
Crazy.
Okay. 8 minutes left on the round. I mean, he is down on half of his life points, so even regardless, Simon
That's
can
funny.
choose to... Oh God, I'm just wondering, is this actually going to be relevant, this Dogwood? We'll see. Preparation of Rites is activated, and that's going to get Ohime from the deck here. And that is basically access to the entire rest of the engine, but only one more card in the hand. Mattia has nothing left remaining, at least that's relevant. I think that's a Sulik face down here, so it really is just down for Simon to play this out and see if we can do something about this, especially with the Dogwood. I think he might not potentially be in range to end the turn, but we have to clear and then set up and then have another turn potentially on Simon's side. With 7 minutes left on the clock, I think things are getting a little bit more relevant right now. Choosing to pick up with the Preparation of Rites, the Illusion of Chaos, which is interesting because Ohime seems like a very important part of the deck here. We're trying to get an update on just exactly what the current situation is, because there appears to be some discussion as to the current game state. We'll have an update for you in just a moment. Yeah, so this is an intense duel because
Absolutely.
you've seen your opponent do full combo. You have the tools and resources available to you. You just have to get over that finish line.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to wait. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. I mean, Simon's not playing any hand traps or no interruptions at all. I mean, you just let your opponent play, and then I have 3 lava golem, 3 sphere mode, 3 evenly matched. And then we see.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the pressure is definitely there. As mentioned, there is a lot on the line. Not only, you know, pride to stand on top of our Swiss, which is always a nice feeling, but there is that oversized, another versus Glutonia for the top of Swiss, which is a huge deal. And on top of that, you're always, you know, the nerves are there. You're playing on stream. There is a huge crowd gathered here to watch these duos compete. And we already saw yesterday, exactly with Simon, how, you know, the tension can get you. And
yeah, just as a small update, we're just having an investigation into a slow play potential because I think there's already been one issued. So for a second one, it could potentially result in maybe a game loss. So our judges are just checking that to have a look and see yeah, how this one is ruled here. So we'll get back to the table once we have an answer. But yeah, in the meantime, we have us here as a discussion. We're going to be having the deck breakdown at some point to you as we get into Top Cut. I'm sure you're all very curious.
Absolutely.
As to what has managed to get into the Top Cut of such a diverse event with so many different decks available. Do you have any predictions for the breakdown?
I mean, I already did my prediction yesterday about the deck. I mean, I'm actually afraid
For like, you know, the kind of the breakdown of...
so the percentages of the deck that will be most represented in Top Cut, I will say... I don't know if Rescue Ace, because I've seen quite a few of, you know, playing, you know, a Rescue Ace, but also Labyrinth.
Yeah.
So let me say around 10-50% of Labyrinth, top 64. I will say.
That many for Labyrinth?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I've seen a lot of them. I mean, I don't know if they will make it to the top 64, but I've seen a lot of them.
So that's like
in between 10-15% of Labyrinth, I would say. Yeah.
That's like 7-8 Labyrinth decks?
Yeah.
Okay, confident,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I'm confident
no,
about
I do
it.
agree with him. Maybe
That many?
on the numbers, but like I have seen even at the top tables, but like meaning top 8 tables, I saw 2 Labyrinth Mirror matches in the previous round. So I mean that the deck is performing really well, and we still have even some big names with it. We saw Joho, Christian Urena, even Dinka was still in fighting. He was more in the bubble section, we could say, but there is still in the bubble side of the, you know, not as comfortable as these.
I think that's one of the
duelists.
important things, right? Because there's a difference between a deck actually being potentially, in theory, the best deck for the event, but there's also conversion. If you have so many top players playing Gladbeast, you might see Gladbeast in top cut, right? If you put that many good players on a specific deck.
So your prediction is Gladbeast.
That's what you took from what I said?
Exactly.
Right, that's the takeaway.
You heard it here from Nadir. Gladbeast will be in the top 64. Maybe there is a chance. No, but we did see quite a few diverse decks. Obviously, I mean, Simon is taking a lot of the credits with them Mikanko deck, but even Tearlaments, your pick for the event, is still showing up strong, and we see a lot of different players.
Strongest.
Absolutely.
I think Top Cut will probably be most represented by Rescue Ace, I think, just out of pure...
you think Unchained will not do as well?
I think Unchained is a solid deck, but I do find that it's a little bit more difficult to play. I think there's a lot of technicality behind it, but just based on how people have been building their deck lists, I haven't seen too much hate for Unchained, you know? I think it was Jesse Cotton that popularized, what's the electric virus for Fiends called?
Marionetter.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I saw one person citing that.
And that was Jesse. Actually, not even joking. Yeah. So,
respect.
Yeah, but I mean, I do agree with you that maybe it is one of those decks that can flew under the radar, and it could end up, although it was top 12% alongside, you know, Rescue Ace and other picks, maybe not perform as well, but I definitely expect the Centurion to show up.
Yeah.
It was not, it was below 4% of our participants, but I saw definitely a few at the top tables, and I'm expecting Centurion to show up. We still saw
a lot of top table as well.
Exactly, yeah, and it wasn't even 4%, so that could be a very nice transition from those low numbers in the top cut.
I think it'd be really cool to see if a deck that has that few people playing it, at least in the grand scheme of the YCS, and then to convert into, like, you know, big numbers in top card, I think will prove that that deck is solid.
Absolutely. And just as a reminder, our duelist, I think we'll need a record of like 9 wins, 1 draw and 2 losses to guarantee that top cut spot. Usually X3 is quite risky considering the numbers, many might miss, and that, you know, requires quite the grind to make it. We saw some of the duelists we featured still on the bubble for this last round. I think, for example, Joshua was one of them, was fighting for 1 spot, even Pak. So, you know, we have some of them. I
was talking to Quanto earlier, who's X2-1, and his tiebreakers are terrible because he started 0-2, and now he's gone all the way to X2. So we'll see if he can make it. Yeah. That's like the crazy thing, right? I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you have such a terrible start, but then you keep playing, and it's like every round is like a fight for your life, you know?
It does, it does happen. And actually, funny enough, here we are in Italy, and we are in Bologna, which is also kind of famous for this, because we had 2 national championships, which were won by a player going 0-2 and then winning the event, and a player going 0-1-1 as well and then winning the event. So maybe Italy can make that happen. So it could, you know, be the one that's going on. But yeah, regardless, there is still a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh to be played, and on parallel with what we are witnessing right now, just as mentioned, we have our Ultimate Time Wizard event from 2005.
That's being played currently, right?
Yeah. And those national champions I mentioned are here, which is always nice to see these people, you know, coming back and still competing. Yesterday they had the 3 rounds of Swiss, and today they're competing 5 more for a top 8 cut, which is gonna be quite tough. And you know, 2005 is no joke. We had a few matches on stream between you know, our casters and masters yesterdays as well. So if you missed any of those, you can go back and check some of that content.
Yeah, I was really enjoying walking around over there and checking out some of the old sort of names that used to be huge back in the day. And I think 2005 is not exactly the most popular. I think people generally like to go with 2010, but I think Italy has like a huge following for 2005.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, there's a big turnout for it. So if you ever go to a YCS, you know, you'll find that the Time Wizard events are super popular. So some people attend YCSs exclusively for the Time Wizard events. That's how much they've grown and how much people have been putting emphasis on it. So there's so many different ways to explore the game now.
Yeah, for sure. We have even digital tournaments going on this weekend, and it's fun. Yu-Gi-Oh is fun no matter what, so you can find your own way of playing the game at these large events, which is nice. And regardless, I mean, the competition is tough. We mentioned it, basically 2,500 players gathered this weekend just for that main event, and at some point they issue, you got a significant amount of them, but it means the competition gets even tougher, and that brings out the best. So we'll see in this top 64 even who will manage, and if we manage to get some of those international players in there. We saw some of, as mentioned, I think I saw Christian Urena was still in, but we have some players from the US, Canada, and even South America. So we'll see. Always tough.
Very nice, honestly. Yeah, a lot of different decks also at the top tables. I mean, maybe 10 plus different decks. So I think for our YCS is huge, no? But I mean, our picks for the moment are resisting, I think. More or less.
Mine.
Yours, I think there's one.
No, there is one. There is one.
There's still hope.
Yeah.
There's still hope.
Okay. I'm not that confident anymore, but sure. We'll see how that goes.
When we get to the deck breakdown portion, I'll also try my best to get the full breakdown to make sure, because I mean, there's going to be so many, right? We have about like 6 or so top names for the deck breakdown, and then plus other. So I'll try scout around and make sure that we have a complete picture, because it's always really interesting, and there's so many archetypes to celebrate at this event, and it'll be interesting to see just how this develops going forward, especially with over the Christmas period and stuff. People will attend their locals, various regionals, and usually people base it off of the success at the major tier 2 events.
Absolutely. So we'll see which one of those that is, and that could be also a nice way to get a Christmas present, get the YCS winning deck maybe for your friends. That could be a nice way to celebrate. Why not? So new traditions, and
so just as a small update, if you're just joining us here, we are in the middle of a judge call here. We have an appeal, and we're just investigating a slow play warning, just to see whether or not that could potentially be upgraded. If not, we'll get the updates for you as and when they come. So right now we are currently in the final round of Swiss, and it's been a huge event, almost 2,500 entrants. So this is going to be 12 rounds of Swiss. This is the last and final round. We are currently in the middle of our oversized card presentation here. So for the winner of Swiss is a new concept that's been introduced over here. For anyone who is going to be the victor, we can actually issue that oversized Glutonia, which is what's being played now. And I believe we've had a update here. Yep, we're going back to the table now. Play can resume, and we can begin from where we left off here. So if you're just joining us, Simon, he has been going second here into the full combo of Tearlaments. And as you can see, Mattia's got no monsters left. Where did it all go? Well, we had a Toad, a SP, a Baron, more things.
Beatrice.
What else did we have? A Beatrice.
And something else.
I think that was something else as well, and that was removed. That we've removed it with a sphere mode. And then further than that, Simon has actually given the Fenrir over to the opponent here. And that's been booked face down. And now we're going to special summon out and continue the plays here by summoning the Magician's Souls from our hand.
The last card face down is the Saliak. That is not really useful at the moment, but he does have access to one last interruption, which he's going to use here, which is that Perle Rhino to destroy the Magician's Souls. So let's see if Simon remembered about that. No, that's not going into the deck. The Souls should go to the graveyard. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Bit of confusion, but makes sense. And with 3 minutes of extension, now there are about 9 minutes remaining in the round. And also we should keep in mind that from the Toad we got that Dogwood added back, which is the last card in hand from Mattia. And with 4,000 left points remaining, that could help tie things up. If not, Simon could also take this one, because right now Mattia is also relying on the top deck. He has nothing left, so.
Yeah, Dogwood added back from Toad is a really niche interaction that I haven't seen anyone do in time, actually. But Mattia pulling it off here. Most importantly, isn't even to like gain ahead in life. Because we use Destrudo, I think it really is just a case of survival, especially against Mikanko, which can just deal so much damage out of nowhere. And I think we still have an Ohime in the hand here that I believe Simon is in the middle of resolving right now.
Yeah,
I think he used the Ohime.
All right, we're tapping, we're thinking. And
yeah, it still has quite a few cards left.
Simon does have to be a little bit careful here because we are very close to potential penalties being involved. But there is the search out here. We're getting the Kagura. Yeah. This is a ritual spell, can bring out the Ohime. Defense on Fenrir is 2400. Which would leave Mattia...
shaking his head though. Maybe not happy with what he's added. Maybe a little bit of a miscalculation. Could be.
If we can put 2 Mikankos on the field, I mean, it would be enough.
But the Dogwood is there. Yeah.
Well, Dogwood summoning into 0 attack monsters isn't relevant, right? So, dealing reflected damage into a defense position, Fenrir for 24 twice would seal this for Simon. Let's see if he can navigate to there. Okay, just wondering what's going on right now. I think is this a translation we're looking for?
I don't know. Apparently, it seems like Simon conceded, and maybe.
Oh right.
Wow. Why? Okay.
Okay. Back to us over here at the desk. So Simon has conceded the game here. I can only assume potentially we're conceding to avoid the potential upgrade of a slow play. So just keep yourself in the Swiss rounds. I think maybe is what is happening here. But yeah, Simon has conceded that game. And it looks like Mattia will actually be the victor of this match.
Yeah, we will see. Regardless.
Okay.
That's it. So nice round of applause. In the end, it seems as if he would have had a chance, but not really. So a bit of anticlimactic ending, maybe for what was though an amazing round in both game and one. They, game 1 and 2, they gave it their best. They each showcased why their decks are so successful at YCS Bologna. And regardless, just as mentioned, this match was mostly to figure out who the top of Swiss was going to be, but we are going to see more of these guys because they are both guaranteed that spot in top 64, which is a huge deal. And regardless, we'll see how the tournament will end up being. And what do you guys think after seeing this deck in action once again? Does it have what it takes to win the event?
Well, provided that we can play in a timely manner, I think Mikanko should be able to do something, a little bit of damage in Swiss, through the top cut, because I think that it just offered so much power and explosivity, especially in the defensive line. If you draw any one of those lava golems or sphere modes, it's going to put you like so far ahead, depleting your opponent of all of their resources. Maybe not specifically against Tearlaments if they open that wide of a field. But yeah, I think the important thing is, well, both of them are still in. That's what matters. Yeah. This wasn't a knockout match that we were presenting to you here. So unfortunately, that misplay costing him. I think the Kagura search was probably incorrect. And I think he still would have been able to take that away, provided that he... I think maybe he should have went with something like a Fire Dance potentially, but...
Yeah, a little bit of a misstep from Simons, but still, I think his deck is very consistent and he has a good chance in the top cut, honestly, especially because, I don't think that all of his opponents could be ready to face his deck, no? And it's consistent, and also I think the die roll is not super important for Simon, because, this deck is also even better by going second, especially because, he's playing the Lava Golem, and his side deck is super well prepared, to go second in general. So, still... very impressive from Simon, 11-1 record, but yeah, I think he has a chance top cut, honestly.
Absolutely. We'll see regardless later on. As mentioned, this was the end of round 12. Now, as usual, we will pretty much wait for all of the remaining matches to be concluded, and then the moments that most of us and even our duelists this weekend have been waiting for, the finalization of those top 64 duelists who will compete in a single elimination bracket to find out the winner of YCS Bologna. As Nadir was saying, later on we will be able to show you the deck breakdown for the top 64, and then we will try our best to, you know, find who the potential winners, both in terms of deck and players, could be, if there is anybody standing out. But regardless, it will be a great end of a day with plenty of matches remaining. A lot of action still for YCS Bologna, a lot of rounds.
Yeah, so much action still to come. There's most likely going to be a bit of a delay now into Top Cut as we get those final standings, but there's plenty of pre-recorded content that we prepared for you. So make sure you stay tuned. Lots of historical formats to check out. And yeah, as we progress forward, a lot of the players are still out there going through the final round, and it's usually the most intense and the most high part of the competition, because this is really where those so many bubble matches are going to be taking place. And yeah, it's all about the final finish. Can we sneak it into Top Cut?
Yeah, I mean, this is the final round, and you know, you can feel the pressure, you know, in the venue, and that's imposter round, you know, of the tournament so far, and you really want to win it and make Top Cut this huge event. And yeah, it's in or out regardless. And
we're just double checking to see if we have a player interview incoming.
Yeah. We are gonna try and speak to Mattia. Obviously, his emotions will be all over the place. Great performance, and again, I would say, yeah, you can celebrate, but don't celebrate too soon, because then, you know, your nerves need to be in check, because there are still 6 match remainings for what is the top 64 today. So a lot of action, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh, and yeah, we'll be able to showcase all of them for you. But regardless, thank you guys for being with us for round 12. This is the end, but before we go on a small break, let's hear it from Mattia and Ed.
Thank you very much, Marcello. Yes, I am here with Mattia, who's just won that round 12 feature match and is now making his way into that top 64 cut. Mattia, how are you doing?
Pretty well.
Yeah, feeling quite good about getting into the top cut?
Yeah, pretty well.
That's what we like to feel. So, Horus Tearlaments. Talk to us a little bit about that. How do you find the Horus engine or the Horus cards are synergizing with Tear?
I think the Horus cards are pretty mandatory right now in Tear, and I think that they give a boost, an incredible boost to the deck, and at least without, it wouldn't be the same.
Thinking about everything that we saw from the synergy of your deck, you had so many amazing moments where you just built this amazing field throughout all the combos. So the huge field in game 1, Simon just couldn't play about that. We didn't see a lava golem from him, so I had to go straight in. So in game 2, you then scooped during his combo. So do you want to talk to us about your thought process? Did you just want to basically see turn 3 in game 3?
Basically, I saw that he was taking his time to combo, and I saw that the time was like 20 minutes left. I wanted to have my time to combo and feeling pretty safe without having the rush of time, so I just scooped the game. And game 3, in game 1, I saw he had lava golems while milling with Kelbeck and Agido, so I just tried to put as much things as possible on the board so that even Sphere Mode and lava golem couldn't like do much, and keep a shuffler in the graveyard to have like the Pellerino effect to pop. And that's what happened, and that's it, basically.
And then game 3 was slightly more complicated. I mean, you started off really, really strong. There was the sphere mode moment from Simon, but you still managed to play around that despite all that. And then we had the issues with the judging with the slow play warnings and things. And then eventually Simon did concede, possibly due to the slow play warning not wanting to be escalated. We're not entirely certain. But either way, that's led to you getting into that top 64 cut. Are you feeling pretty confident with your deck against this quite diverse meta going into the top cut?
Yeah, with Tearlaments, I feel pretty confident. I think there are a lot of kind of free matchups, so I think the deck is too strong.
Well, congratulations. Best of luck in that top cut. Perhaps we'll be seeing you as we head towards the final. Congratulations. Guys, don't go anywhere, because we're going to have a little bit of a gap before that top 64 feature match, because sometimes it takes a little bit of time just to finalize who the top 64 are.